I'm going to show you how to update a vintage bike from Downtube style shifters to STI type shifters or Brifters, where the brake lever and the shifter are all contained in one unit here. This is a Trek 1000 from about 1990. It's 14 speed, it's got 7 on the back and 2 on the front. The rear derailleur is a Sun Tour, which is not going to work with the STI shifters. So I'm going to have to replace that with a Shimano SIS type derailleur, and I have a 105 derailleur. I'm going to go ahead and install it back there like that. Also, these Downtube shifters, I'm going to have to remove those and replace these with cable stops, and that's okay because I've got those as well. Now the next thing is the shifters themselves. When looking for shifters, there's generally, for 7-speed, there's generally 2 different kinds you're going to find mostly are Sora and RSX. And make sure that you find 7-speed shifters, because a lot of what you'll see are 8-speed shifters, and they're not going to work with a 7-speed system very well because the spacing is different. So you want to make sure you find 7-speed shifters. On the left side for the front derailleur, I have a triple, but that's going to be okay. A triple will work with a double. You just you limit how much the derailleur will move by using the limiting screws. So a triple shifter will work fine on a double chainring. Anyway, let's go ahead and get started on this. I'm going to start off by removing this ratty old handlebar tape. Okay, I'm also going to go ahead and cut all the cables. I'm going to be replacing all of them anyway. So just cut them. And I still want to remove all this tape here. Original tape. Then I'm going to go ahead and remove these old brake levers, and there's like a, what is it, 4mm Allen head. I just stick it in this little slot right there, find the bolt in there for the clamp. Okay, then go ahead and loosen that. Let's slide this off of there. Same thing with this one. There we go. There's that off. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and mount the shifters now. They're pretty easy to tell which one's which, because there's definitely a left and a right. The little part where the shifter cable comes out goes to the inside. So this one will be the left one, and this one will be the right one. Just go ahead, slide it on, get it up to about where you're going to want it. Use a straight edge, and go ahead and have the straight edge lined up with the bottom of the drop bar there. Bring the shifter up, and on this one there's like a little slot here, and back there's a 5mm Allen bolt. So get like a 5mm Allen wrench, get it in there, and go ahead and tighten that little bolt in there, and that'll tighten the clamp. And what you want to do is you want to have the shifter pointed straight forward, but you want the bottom of the little brake lever here to line up with the flat part of the bottom of the drop bar there. So go ahead and get that down there. Tighten this a little bit more. And that's a good starting spot. You may actually want to move it for your own comfort, but that's a good place to start at. So that looks pretty good, so I'm going to tighten that down. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Slide the shifter up into place. I'm going to go ahead and tighten it down a little bit, just to kind of get it where I want it. Get my straight edge here. Get that down. And then tighten that down. Okay, and if you don't like them where they're at, you can always tweak them a little bit later here. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and remove the rear derailleur and install a new one. The easiest way is just go ahead and remove the bottom pulley here. If I get that out, that'll let the chain fall out. Let me see if I go ahead and there. So the chain is now free of the rear derailleur, and I'll go ahead and remove the derailleur itself. Now go ahead and install the new one. This is the Shimano 105, and screw it on there. Tighten that down. And now this, again, remove this bottom pulley. Slide this out. Go ahead and move the little back plate in there to get the chain in onto the first pulley. Then slide the little back plate back into position here. Slide the pulley back in. Get the pin in. And tighten that on. So now I have the rear derailleur all installed on there. Now I'm going to go ahead and remove the Downtube shifter here. Just unscrew this and slide it off. I have two cable stops here, and you want to install it like this so that the barrel adjuster is pointing up and is also towards the bottom side of the down tube. So go ahead and you'll get that into place. And you're going to use a couple small screws. These are like the same size as the bottle cage screws. Go ahead and screw that on. Like that. And I'll go ahead and get this side as well. Go ahead and unscrew this. Install the cable stop on this side. And there, got that. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and cut a new piece of cable housing for the front brake. So I'm going to go ahead, roll this boot back and pull this off here, and I can stick the cable housing in there, get a rough measurement here of how long I need the cable housing to be. It come right there, and then come down to here, and I want like a little bit of a bend in there. And so if I go ahead and cut it right there, that should probably work. So I got my Park Tool cable housing cutters. I'll cut right there. And got a nice clean cut there. And check over here. That's a little messy, so I'm gonna go ahead and just clean that up right there. Now after you cut the cable housing, a lot of times you want to have it like a scribe, because you go ahead and push this down in there and open up the lining, because sometimes that gets all smushed together. So you go ahead and just stick that in there, and that'll help open up the lining in there for the cable to go through, like that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of cable, the brake cable, stick it in through the little cable stop here, and it'll come out the back of the brake there. Slide it into the cable housing in here, and then get the cable housing nice and inserted into the back of the brake there, and then I'll go ahead and push the cable all the way through the cable housing where you pull it through. And make sure the end of the cable gets seated in there nice. Feed the cable down through there. Okay, go down here and remove the remnant of old cable there, and then slide the new cable down through here. Like that. Now I found the easiest way to go ahead and adjust these is go ahead, tighten the barrel adjuster all the way down, and then loosen it by about 4 full turns. Now go ahead and squeeze the brake pads against the rim, pull the cable tight, and then go ahead and tighten the clamp here on the cable. Get nice and tight. Okay, now go ahead and tighten the barrel adjuster down, and as you do that, the brakes are going to move out away from the rim. And now you can go ahead and test them. That looks good. Then go ahead, cut the cable about an inch, inch and a half down below the brake. Take a little crimp end on, and go ahead and crimp that on there. There. Now I'm going to go ahead and tape the cable housing down, and so I'll tape it here. It's going to go to the inside of the curve there, and just use electrical tape. Just like that. Okay, now I need to replace the cable housing that goes through the frame. I'm going to show you how to do that. There's an easy way to do that without having to do a lot of fishing or anything. Take a bit of the brake cable, feed it into the housing, and run it all the way through until it comes out the back side. Here, like this. So now I can go ahead, hold this bit of cable here, and just go ahead and pull the cable housing out, leaving the cable going through the frame. So I got that out. So now what I can do is take the new brake cable housing, slide it onto the cable, insert it into the one hole, push it through, and then I'll use the cable over here to guide it out through that hole there. And then I go ahead and just pull that cable out. Now I can go ahead and work on adjusting the length of this. Okay, I'm going to roll this boot up here. And I got my new cable housing coming out here. Figure out how long I want to have it. I can fit it down into the back of the brake lever there. And to go ahead and hold it in place, I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of tape, just temporarily hold it for where I want it to be. Work this out here. It's going to come there. And tape it right there. This is just temporary to hold it so I can get a measurement for the length. Okay. Now what I want to have enough cable housing out so that when I turn the handlebars that this is not going to bind. So I can go ahead and pull this through here. Probably a little bit more. And maybe just a hair more. There. I don't want this cable here to bind when the handlebars turn real tightly there. I can probably maybe just a hair more. Right there. And that looks about right there. Now I need to cut the cable housing in the back here. And I don't want to have too much, I don't want like this, but I don't want to have too little either because this brake needs to be able to come down. So I want to have just a little bit in there, like about like that. So it'll have a chance to move. I'll go ahead and cut this. I'd rather have just a little too much than a little too little because I can always shorten it. Cut it right there. Use my scribe to open that up. And I can insert it into right there. And I think that's just a hair too much, but let's try. Yeah, that's a little too much. I'm going to just go ahead and shorten that just a hair. And I think that looks okay. I'll just pull a little bit more towards the front there. Doesn't matter. Okay, there we go with that. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and remove my temporary tape here. Just pull that off. Then I'm going to go ahead and insert my brake cable in through the brake. And it'll come out the back. There. I'll feed it into the cable housing, get the cable housing nice and snug into the back there, and then go ahead and just push my brake cable through the cable housing. Then it comes out the back, I go ahead and just pull it out the back there. There. Okay, go ahead and remove the cable fragment from the previous installation. There. Loosen that up just a little bit. Feed my cable down through the barrel adjuster, down into the clamp here, pull that through. Get this all nice and seated into the barrel adjuster there, like that. Okay, same thing I did before. I'll tighten the barrel adjuster all the way down, loosen it by about 4 full turns. Let me see. Get it. Okay, now squeeze the brakes against the rim, pull the cable tight, tighten the clamp. That. Tighten the barrel adjuster back down. Okay, go ahead and test it. There. And now the brake works well. Boom. Looks like the wheel needs trued. That's fine. Now go ahead and cut the cable about an inch and a half below the brake. Install a crimp end. And done with that. Now I'm going to go ahead and tape down the brake cable housing here. So just go ahead, tape it here. To the inside of the curve. One more to the inside of the curve here. Okay, done with the brakes. Okay, now I need to cut the cable housings for the shifters. So I need to measure from here down to here, and also from here down to here. I'm going to just go ahead and cut both of these at the same time, and they should probably both be about the same length. So it's going to go from here down to here, but I have to have enough cable so that when I turn the handlebars, it's not going to bind there. So I'll go for about right there, and I'll just leave just a hair extra and cut right there. And they should both be about the same length because they both have about the same distance to travel from there down to there. So I'll just put these side by side, come down, and cut that right there. I'm going to go ahead and run this first cable. On the brake right here, on the shifter, there's like a little plastic tab right in here, so I'm going to go ahead and pop that off. And that'll give me access to where the shifter cable goes in. And I'll go ahead and release this all the way. Okay, go ahead, compress the brake, push the cable in through the brake lever, and it'll come out the other side there. Okay, I got a little bit of my cable housing here. Put a ferrule onto the end of there, slide the cable in. Then I'm going to compress the brake just a little bit and shove the cable through till it comes out the other end of the cable. Okay, there. Put the ferrule onto this end. I'm going to go around this brake cable right here like that, and then go down into the barrel adjuster like this, compress the brake, and I can go ahead and pull the cable through. Get this all seated here, just like that. And I can test it. Looks good like that. Now I'm going to go ahead and put this little plastic tab back into place. Don't want to lose that. Just like that. Okay, same thing on this side. Open this up here, pop this little plastic, or it's actually like a rubber type little tab out of there. Shift this all the way, or release all this all the way. Go ahead, insert the cable through the shifter so it comes out the other side there. I got my cable housing here, put a ferrule onto one end, push the cable in through there, compress the brake and push the cable through. Put a cable on, ferrule onto the other end of the cable housing here. Put the cable down through this cable stop here, this little barrel adjuster here. Put that there. And then pull the cable all the way through till it's seated in there. Good. Go ahead and reinstall this little rubber cover there. Good. Okay, I'm going to take this cable here now, get ready to hook up the front derailleur. Feed it through. Let's see, got the old cable still here. Run this through the guide under the bottom bracket. And bring this up. Okay, remove the remnant of the old cable here from the front derailleur. Bring the new cable up. Through the little guide there. And then tighten this. Let's see. Pull it nice and tight. And actually, first I'm going to go ahead and just trim this off a little bit so I don't have a lot of excess cable getting in the way here. Okay, let's go ahead and test the shifting. There's that. There's that. Looking good. Double check this, make sure this is fully tightened. Trim this off about 1.5 inches. Put a little crimp end on. Done with that. On to the rear derailleur. Okay, take this cable here, run it through the guide underneath the bottom bracket, bring it through here, and I need to cut a piece of cable housing for right here. Okay, this bit of cable housing needs to go from right here to right about there, and I want to have enough so there's a bend in there so this can all move, but not too much. And actually, that is about right, I think. Maybe just a hair less. Right about there, I think. I'm going to go ahead and cut that. Clear the ends with my scribe here. Okay, so I'm going to have a ferrule on both ends of this little bit of cable housing here. Like that. And run this bit of cable through here, through this cable stop, into the cable housing, and come through there, down into this barrel adjuster here, and then I'll pull it through like that. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and tighten this barrel adjuster all the way down. Oop. And then just loosen it by a couple, about 1 turn maybe, or 1.5 turns. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and get this cable clamped into the derailleur down here. Pull it tight. And clamp it in. And I have the chain onto the smallest cog up here. So let's go ahead and just tighten this a little bit more. Actually, maybe I'll go ahead and trim a little bit of this cable off just so it doesn't get in the way. Okay, let's test the shifting on this thing. Okay. Adjust this a little bit. Seems to be working pretty well. I think if I had a Shimano freewheel on there, it might work a little bit better. This is a Sachs, but overall it's working pretty well. Well, here it is, finished. I wrapped the handlebars with brand new tape. I didn't video that process of that because I already have a couple of videos online of how to wrap handlebars. I think it turned out great. I'm basically done with it. I may play a little bit with that freewheel on the back, see if I can get the shifting just a little crisper. But that is how you upgrade a vintage bike from Downtube shifters to STI shifters. I hope that helps.